Download the latest release from GitHub. In Blender, go to the Settings, Add-ons tab, and select Install Add-on from File. Select the zip file that was just downloaded. Enable QuickTitling by clicking this checkbox, and don't forget to save the settings. In the VSC, the QuickTitling panel should now be available. Select an included preset from this menu, or start with a blank default preset. Selecting the preset loads it into the editor area here, but a title has not yet been created. The settings can be changed now, but it is easier to create a title to see what is being changed. Click the Create New Title button to create a title using the current settings. Be sure to set the Viewport Preview mode to Material to be able to see the most accurate preview. Left-click on objects in the viewport to select them. Then use the G keyboard shortcut to move them, S to scale, and R to rotate. Press X, Y, or Z to limit these transforms on one axis. Also type in the transform values directly while in this mode. Select objects in the QuickTitling panel as well, and change their position, scale, and rotation there. Some settings, like the text of a text object, can only be edited in this panel. Deselect the title to go back into preset editing mode. This allows selecting of a new preset, editing the selected preset, or creating a new title. To edit an existing title, it needs to be selected again. I will now create a new title preset, starting with a blank layout by selecting the default preset from the preset menu. I can create new objects using the buttons here. The font can be changed here to any loaded fonts, and new fonts can be loaded with the plus button here. Different objects has special settings, like the text object, which has word wrapping and text position. Now I need something behind the text, a box object. It has been created above the text, so I will use this arrow to move it down a layer. Now I will make the box smaller, so it is only covering the lower third. Basic material settings can be changed here. It's easy to change the color and specularity. I'm going to make the text a bit easier to read by giving it an outline. And change the shadow settings down here. Now I want to add some kind of graphic over on this side. So I'm adding a circle, scaling it, moving it around, setting the color, and duplicating it a couple times. I'll now put some text over this graphic. It's a bit hard to see, so I'm going to give it a 3D effect using the thickness and bevel settings. And make the material a bit darker and shinier. I have an interesting title now, but it's just static. There's no animation. So, let's add some animation to it. Various animation presets can be applied using this menu. Animations can be modified after being applied, but you must start with one of the presets. The Y-axis slide up and down is a nice way to bring the lower third in by sliding it in from off the bottom of the screen. You can apply the current animation to all objects in the title easily with this button. Now everything slides up. It is a bit boring to have all the objects sliding in the same way though, so let's change the text slide in direction. Delete the old animation by clicking the X button here, and add a new one from the menu. Okay, let's do something interesting with the text over here. It's a bit boring right now. The cycle animations are good for giving a continuous movement to an object throughout the length of the title. The default cycle movement is this, but we can change it from the menu here. Let's make it random. Slow down or speed up the cycle by changing the X scale value here. And change the amount of movement with the Y scale value here. Now let's do the same thing for the horizontal movement. This new diagonal movement is actually less random looking though, so let's change the offset value of one of those angles here to offset the animation values. Now I'm going to add a little bit of transparency flicker to the circles. So just one last thing. The random vertical animation of the text overwrote the slide in and out. So we have to turn that back on by checking the Animate In and Out buttons here, and setting the values. Now that I have a title preset that I like, I will want to save this back to custom titles so that I can make more than one with variations. This title should be named first though, or it'll simply be called Default. Also, this title can now be exported to an XML file and saved for later, or even sent to somebody else. There are a lot more settings that are not covered in this tutorial. You can find the information about all these settings in the README on GitHub, or experiment to learn what all the settings do. And I hope you enjoy using QuickTitling.